Let's make some noise. Come on.
Right, indeedy, Nick Foles. Let's make some noise. Welcome back, everybody, to the final episode of the Final Word here on our broadcast week. Here on the It's Rap Sports Network, your boy MattyB once again on the call of the flagship show of this beautiful, fine sports entertainment network. It's Thursday night. It's good to be back. It's good to wrap up my week with you. Another successful week. 4, I think we did today, or 4 this week, maybe 3, 4. I think it's 4. I lose track, but we've done a pretty good week. Our first week of our new time slot, 9 o'clock. Still kind of getting some things worked out with that, but I think it's going to be okay. And we're going to finish up this week strong. We're not done here on the It's a Rap Sports Network, though. So if you're thinking that, oh, man, I caught the last show of the day, no, you did not. Because right after me, sometime in the 10:30, 11 o'clock hour, Clear the Ice will come at you with the Flyers Predators postgame. Flyers currently down 1-0 in Nashville as they get ready to start the second period. And that'll be Mike Laro on the call tonight. So I'm not on postgame tonight, but that's why I'm here. So make sure you're tuned in tonight, late night, for some Flyers postgame. And then tomorrow we give you a break. And then Saturday, I'll be back on the call for Flyers postgame when they host the Ottawa Senators to wrap up the week. So we're going to get into some things tonight. Baseball's back in the news for me. Baseball never clearly leaves the news. Free agency and trading has officially begun as of today. Phillies have made some moves. We're going to do a hot stove report tonight. There's a bunch of activity kind of floating around out there that we're going to try to jump on. A lot of stuff, a lot of minute stuff that's not really going to matter here nor there come April, but it fills up some time in November. So we're going to talk about some of the moves around baseball. The Phillies have actually signed a free agent, and we'll get into that too. Qualifying offers were made today to Ranger Suarez and Kyle Schwarber, along with, I think, around the MLB, 11 other qualifying offers. I think something like 1 year, $22 million is sort of the qualifying offer thing. I don't expect neither one of those players to accept that qualifying offer, but what it does, it protects the Phillies by giving them some draft compensation when they don't and they sign somewhere else. So Phillies is sort of kind of following the protocol and getting ready for a potential see you later to Kyle Schwarber and Ranger Suarez, which I think that's what that is. I think that's the prelude to saying goodbye to them as the Phillies try to protect themselves. So we'll get into some baseball tonight. The Flyers are playing as we speak. Sort of a lot of the same stuff that we've been seeing over the past 3 or 4 games that's going on in Nashville. They're down 1-0, and their offense looks anemic, looks slow. It looks about 1 second off the pace. Dan Vladar, another goal issue. I don't know. Just what the Flyers are, I guess. Well, we'll get into the Flyers. Earlier tonight, if you caught the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn, me and Kyle gave our picks, breaking down the Eagle-Packer game a little bit. I think the Eagles will lose this game. I do. 28, I believe, 21. Kyle likes the Eagles to win, I think, like 27-23 or something like that. So I also said on the Birds Blast, I don't necessarily think I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles won, but I'm not a believer right now in what's going down. I'm just not a believer. So we'll get into some Eagles-Packers. We got our Day in Philadelphia Sports History of the Night segment and our card review, all that in store for you tonight on this fine program. So we're going to get things going here right now. Ricky Deals checks in and says, hey, Ricky, hey, Matt, what's up? Hey, Ricky, how you doing? Joe Hale. The usual suspects are in the house. It's good to see you guys. Before I get on to our Day in Philadelphia Sports History, let me remind you of some programming notes. I promised this yesterday once I found out. We had a meeting last night, and we discussed the future of some shows, and I'm about to reveal that future to you right now. As you know, Pat Bernard, or if you didn't know, I'm going to let you in on it. Pat Bernard is still with our network, but he is now completely behind the scenes for the foreseeable future until we work out some things. So with that, we had to make some decisions about some shows that he was tied to in terms of going forward, not going forward, rebranding, canceling altogether, whatever. but we had to make some decisions on a number of shows, and we did make those decisions last night. And here it is as follows. The PNM and the AM program will continue Sundays at 9 a.m. It will continue under the name PNM and the AM for a little bit longer. The show will be rebranded and renamed. It will be Al and Mike taking the 9 o'clock Sunday morning time slot when that happens. So essentially, it's staying the same, just going to have a different name and all that with it. But again, that's going to happen in time over the next few weeks. But we're going to continue with the PNM and the AM brand right now. The Get Processed Sixers postgame show is indefinitely on the shelf. There's just no interest in anybody taking that thing over full time. And I'm not scrapping the idea, and my hopes are that at some point somebody will come in and get it, and we can resume Sixer postgame. We only got one show in. I'd like to see it happen. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. But for now, due to the staffing problems here, when there's only 3 of us kind of doing some stuff, and lack of interest in the team, the show is going to go up on the shelf for the foreseeable future too. Attacking Third will also be sort of put on the shelf until Steve returns, and then that will also go under a new name and at whatever time slot he wants to do that in. The wraparound, again, we talked about this last night. Wraparound is on the shelf until December, sometime in December, early December, where Al will take it, rename it, rebrand it. We're still looking at Friday nights as the time slot. We don't know the exact time yet. It may stay at 10, may stay at 10:30. It may go earlier. It's going to be Al's baby, so he'll make a decision on what he wants to do with that. And I think that's all. Post game flyers will continue. Me and Mike, and you will see Al at a certain point starting in December, sort of floating in it and doing a few shows. So we're going to continue on with the post-game flyers, and Mike Laro still will continue doing his hosting duties of the Birds Flyby, our Eagles post-game show. That will not stop either. So that was a decision made last night by the Brain Trust, by the powers that be. We had about an hour and a half meeting where we talked about all this stuff. So this is what we're going to go, and this is what we're going to do with it. So that's the best we could do, unfortunately. And I think it's a good plan. And I'm glad that we could keep certain products, certain shows going. I'm not happy that we can't do the Sixers post game anymore, and I'm not happy that, obviously with the situation with Steve being on hiatus as well, we got to stop doing Union, but we will get back to those things, I promise. But yeah, so there you go. There's the report everybody out there wanted to know what was going to happen with all the shows, and there you have it. That is it in a nutshell. So I hope you guys accept that, and we move forward. If not, I don't care. Penn State is staying. That was Mike's. Penn State's post-game show will continue on. We'll get through this season as quickly as humanly possible. Penn State post-game. Next season, they're going to change the format, though. Instead of Mike doing a post-game show immediately after the game, which is a post-game show, he's going to do like a Birds Blast thing with it. He's going to do a midweek show where he'll review the game that happened, and he'll preview the coming game. So that'll be for next season. But for this season, everything stays the way it is. I think they only got a few more weeks left anyway. So mercifully, worst season in Penn State football history, honestly. So there you go. That's it. And we're always on the lookout for new talent. So if you or anybody thinks they might have it, our email address is floating around down there in the bottom somewhere. Hit us up. Hit me up personally on that email. I check it once every 6 weeks. I got to get better at that. But hit us up, and we'll start the process. I'm not going to turn the microphone right over to you. There's a vetting process that has to be done, and we'll go from there. But if you know somebody out there that's hungry to get into this type of business, who wants to be part of what we're growing here, which is, I think, the future in Philadelphia sports talk radio, programming, whatever, hit me up, and we'll see where we can go with that. So there you go. Ricky says the Flowers game is tied. Yeah, I know. I just saw that. They just tied it. 1-1 right now as Ricky Deal reports out there in Nashville. So let's go with the show tonight. Let's get it started. Let's strap it in, strap it on, strap it up. Keep your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times, and let's roll with your day in Philadelphia sports history. On this day in 1966, Tim Brown and Aaron Martin, both punt return men, scored every Eagles touchdown in a 24-23 win over the Dallas Cowboys. The special teams' dominant performance for Philly included scores on 2 kick returns of 93 and 90 yards by Tim Brown and a punt return of 67 yards by Martin. So all 3 touchdowns the Eagles scored on this day in 1966 against the Cowboys in a 24-23 win were accounted completely by the special teams. Tim Brown really doesn't get much love. He doesn't get as much love as he should. Dominant player of his era. And he's taken back 2 kicks in one game, and they also had a punt return. So special teams ruled the day for the Eagles on this day in 1966 against the Dallas Cowboys, where they accounted for all 24 of the Eagles' points. What was that offense like? Good Lord. But that was your day in Philadelphia sports history. Special teams running wild for the Eagles against the Cowboys on this day in 1966. And that show, or that little segment, was brought to you by the good folks over at the Gridiron Weekly. That, yes, we had a little bit of communication tonight. The guys were unable to go. They tried to make it happen, but certain things in life took over. So the show did not happen tonight. They will be back next week. So never fear. Never fear, never fear. All right. That's that. It's that. That's that. Oh, man. Oh, man. We have our Wish Donnie Baseball. Joe Hale kind of leading us off with an interesting nugget of information that comes out of the world of baseball. Joe, let's explore that. So today, the Toronto Blue Jays, or I should say Don Mattingly, has stepped down, saying that, you know, he enjoyed his time in Toronto, learned a lot about himself, learned a lot about the new game of baseball, but you know what? It's time for him to move on. He has also stated very clearly he's not retiring. So that does seemingly open the path for my wish to come true. They're calling for Donnie Baseball for a hot minute to assume the role as the Phillies' new bench coach, which would then provide that safety net when and if Rob Thompson comes out of the gate in 2026 as a failure, which would open up the pathway for Don Mattingly to become the next manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. 100% love this news. Hopefully, you know, with the inside track of his son, Preston, being the interim GM, we can get that done, and we can bring Don Mattingly here. I thought it was very weird. Well, I didn't really see. That's it. I didn't think it was weird when Dombrowski said this back on the exit interview or the exit press conference, when he said, we're going to create the position of Major League Baseball field coordinator. 80% of the teams in baseball are using that, which they're not, by the way. It's like 30% of the teams do that, but whatever. I understand the basis of the statement. So we're going to create an additional another set of eyes on the whole situation. And we're going to take our current bench coach and we're going to put him in that position, and we're going to open up the bench coach job to another coach. And Dave was very specific and said it's going to be somebody who has previous baseball managerial experience. Now, I'm not plugged in to Major League Baseball. I'd like to think I am. I'm not plugged into the inner workings of the Phillies either. I like to think I am, but I'm not. But you know, this is a somewhat obvious thing. It's almost like you're at your job, right? Your regular job, your Joe job. You know, the jobs that we do, that you working slubs do every day. You know, I dabble. That's what I do now. I dabble in work. I don't necessarily work. I worked for 30 years, busting my ass for 30 years, and living off of a not fat pension, but living off of a nice little pension. That's going to get even nicer when I have to stop paying all this child support. But you know, it's like when you're working at the job that you love, right? That you think you're good at. And they say, you know what? We're going to move you into another position, right? going to keep you here, but your new position is a little bit less responsibility, a little bit less sort of like on job site responsibility. Oh, and we're going to take your old job and we're going to give it to somebody else who we think is more qualified. And then your big boss is going to be like, well, wait, you're bringing in a guy that's got probably a better resume than I do as in the same in my position. I mean, this thing smacks of like safety net all the way. And I don't know how Rob Thompson has missed that. I mean, are we reading too much into this creation of this new position? Or is Rob Thompson just like a lackey like that? And it's like, yeah, whatever, I get it. If I fail, I'm going to get fired. And you guys got to put yourself in a better position. I don't know. I don't know how I would react to that if I was Rob Thompson. I'd be like, well, hell, why are we going through all this rigmarole? Fire me now if you're going to set me up for failure. But Don Mattingly is now on the market, could presumably come to the Phillies coaching staff, could presumably fill that role as the heir apparent to Rob Thompson. And as Joe Hale is saying here, he's going to meet with the Phillies next week. I haven't heard that, but that could be possible if he does, and I'm sure he will eventually. If it's not next week, it'll be sometime. And he say he gets the job. What kind of backroom guarantees is he getting when and if the Phillies and Rob Thompson specifically falters? You know, like what kind of like, hey, I'm your new bench coach, right? You know, and what sort of drama or distraction would that potentially be for the 2026 Phillies? Because I know I'm going to be annoying about it. You know, I'm going to be looking at this thing one game at a time. Oh, they lost. They're 4-6 to start the season. When we bring in Mattingly in, when's Thompson getting fired? It's just going to add a whole other layer to the obnoxiousness of the side of the fan base that has lost patience with the Phillies and has lost patience more specifically with Rob Thompson. So I don't know why you would invite that. Why you as Rob Thompson would like invite that on. He knows. I mean, he's got to know what this is, right? If not Don Mattingly, it's going to be somebody else that's got managerial experience. You know, he's got to understand and read between the lines here. He's not a dumb person. Well, maybe he is. I don't know. But so it's going to be interesting to see if this creates any sort of internal distraction. It's going to create an external one. Oh, I know we're going to create it. We're going to turn it into a distraction. I'm going to be distracted left and right about it. And I'm going to be, I might even start a graphic, the Rob Thompson, you know, countdown tracker. All right, 4-8, 17-22, 19-29. When is he, you know, when is that happening? So, but things are seeming to be lining up a little bit right now for Don Mattingly to potentially be part of the Phillies coaching staff for, you know, to strengthen the bench coach position. So we'll wait and see how that works out for the Phillies. But let's get into some baseball tonight. We're going to do our second hot stove report of the season. This is going to be a bi-weekly, once a week, whenever it actually needs to be done. But we're going to do this hot stove report. I did it last year on this program, and I'm glad to be able to bring it back. It's depressing to bring it back because that means there's no baseball, but it's back. The calendar goes round and round and round, but it's back. So we're going to do the hot stove report. But first, we are going to also continue to update you on the 2025 MLB awards as they are starting to be handed out. The other night, they gave out the Golden Gloves. Tonight, the Silver Sluggers of the National League were announced. So let's go over that list of players real quick. Your Silver Slugger first baseman in 2025 is Pete Alonso. It's his first ever Silver Slugger award as he had a really good, you know, really strong 38 homer, 126 RBI season for the Mets to go along with an NL best 41 doubles. Definitely the type of season you want to have when you have the ability to opt out of the contract you're currently in, which he has done. So Alonso will get his very first ever Silver Slugger for first base. Your second base is Kel Marte from the Diamondbacks, his second Silver Slugger. Your third base, Manny Machado from the Padres, gets his third. Shortstop is Geraldo Perdomo of the Diamondbacks is first. So that's 2 Diamondbacks with Silver Sluggers in the same year. In the outfield, they don't position it like center, left, and right, but your one outfielder, Juan Soto. Juan Soto gets the nod in the outfield. His 6th Silver Slugger in his career. 43 home runs. He actually had a career high in home runs this past year for the Mets. 38 stolen bases, 127 walks, and a .921 OPS. He did it largely sort of like under wraps, man. It was really a misleading season for him. I think the problem with Soto was the clutch factor. He just wasn't coming up clutch for them. But he'll get the nod for his 6th Silver Slugger. Corbin Carroll, another Diamondback. That's number 3. Gets the Silver Slugger in the outfield. It's 3 now, Diamondback players who got Silver Sluggers this year. 31 homers, a career high, 32 stolen bases. He batted .259 with an .884 OPS. And an OPS at 140 points higher. So there you go. That's your 3rd Diamondback to win a Silver Slugger. Kyle Tucker rounds out the outfield from the Cubs, his 2nd Silver Slugger of his career. Your catcher, this is a player we've talked about. I've talked about. I've slobbered over this guy. I've wanted him here. This is what I wish we had. Hunter Goodman of the Rockies gets the Silver Slugger nod in his 2nd year of MLB experience, his 1st Silver Slugger. 91 RBIs, 281 bases, and an .843 OPS, 31 home runs for the young catcher for the Colorado Rockies, who I know there's a lot of talk about Adley Rutschman and the Phillies sort of rattling the chains of the Baltimore Orioles for that. But don't forget about Hunter Goodman. Now, you might look at Hunter Goodman as a really hard get because he's under team control for like the next 4 years. He's got a lot of team control. He's a very young player. Again, this was his 2nd full season in Major League Baseball. And it'll take a king ransom to get him out of Colorado. But the Rockies are so far gone and so far off. You might be able to tempt them with. Listen, I would even be ready to give up just Crawford. Yep, I'd give up Crawford for Hunter Goodman. I would. I'd give up Painter for Hunter Goodman. This is definitely a kid you can build a foundation around as a catcher. I love what he does. I love his game. His baseball cards are skyrocketing in value now. I've been following him for some time now. And I would definitely be trying to work something out. If you want to solve your catcher problem, this is the kid that'll do it for you for the next 4 years at least. So, Dave Dombrowski, if you're serious about looking at upgrading from JT, because we don't have anything internal, Hunter Goodman's the name I'd be looking at from the Colorado Rockies. And your designated hitter, well, is there anybody else you would not have given it to? Shohei Ohtani will get the Silver Slugger Award, his 4th. His 4th Silver Slugger of his career. 146 runs scored, most in Major League Baseball. Over 20 stolen bases. 622 slugging percentage, an OPS of 1,014. Just amazing. All right. And that's why he's going to win a Silver Slugger, and he's also going to win the MVP. So Ohtani gets your Silver Slugger as a DH. Your utility player, Alec Burleson from the Cardinals, his 1st. He's another young player that's really good. Gets his 1st Silver Slug Award. And to round out the Silver Sluggers, they apparently also threw out the Team of the Year of the National League in 2025. What a surprise. Defending 2-time World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers named the NL Team of the Year. Tomorrow night, they will announce the American League Silver Sluggers, and we'll report on that on Sunday. And we'll catch you guys up on that. But there you go. As the hardware is starting to be handed out around Major League Baseball, and we'll have the latest updates and news on that. But yep. If you have time tonight, we'll see, Joe. I'm kind of. I might just run this thing the old-fashioned way. We'll see. We'll see though. We'll keep it open. But let's now get into our hot stove report. Yep, the second edition of the Hot Stove for 2025-26, and also and the reason why we're doing it is the official start of the free agency period in Major League Baseball. Players are now free to sign with whomever they want to sign with. They are also free. Teams are to trade again, as that has been lifted. We are no longer post-trade deadline. We are now back to the beginning of the next trade deadline, which will be sometime at the end of July of 2026. So now it's time. The shopping spree has begun. And we are going to update you on the latest and greatest of the happenings around Major League Baseball on the first day of free agency. Nothing major, just a lot of minor moves, but, you got to start somewhere. Randy Winn, formerly or of the Cincinnati Reds, has been, declared a free agent. He's a minor league player, so he's declared minor league free agency. Brandon Woodruff of the Milwaukee Brewers declined his player option. Donovan Walton, which is a Phillies farmhand, is now a minor league free agent. Chad Wallach of the Angels, a minor league free agent. There's going to be a lot of this, guys. We got to get through this fluff before we get to the good stuff. Abraham Toro of the Boston Red Sox, also a minor league free agent. Lodoy Travaris, minor league free agent of the Mariners. Devin Sweet, a Phillies farmhand, is also going to be a free agent, as he's declared free agency to start the season. Robert Suarez of the San Diego Padres also declined his player option, which is an interesting. I would definitely kick the tires on him. Michael Stefanik of the Toronto Blue Jays is a minor league free agent. Drew Smith, the pitcher of the Mets, declined his player option. Connor Seabold of the Braves is also now a minor league free agent. Matt Sauer of the Dodgers, a minor league free agent. Some names that used to be decent now toiling around in the minor leagues. Evelyn Rodriguez of the Arizona Diamondbacks declined his team option. Trevor Richards is a minor league free agent. Ernesto Ramirez, minor league free agent. Jose Quintana of the Milwaukee Brewers declined his player option. Another interesting name to think about. Martin Perez of the White Sox declined his player option. And Jorge Polanco of the Seattle Mariners declined his player option. So some interesting names starting to, pop up. Tom Murphy from the Giants has also declined his team option. And Coco Montes is a minor league free agent. Let's continue through this. And on there. Jonathan Lozagna, the pitcher from the Yankees, has also declined his player option, or the club option was declined. Sorry, Michael Lorenzen, our old friend, Mr. No Hitter, is now his team option was declined. He is a free agent as he hits the open market yet again. Michael King of the San Diego Padres, starting pitcher, he declined his player option. Ha-Seong Kim of the Atlanta Braves declined his player option. So some interesting names, some lower level guys that you might be able to bring in cheap. Corey Junkus is now a free agent minor league wise. Danny Jansen, Milwaukee's catcher. The team option was declined. The Brewers don't want him back. Of course, Rhys Hoskins, we talked about him earlier in the week. His club option was declined. Carlos Hernandez is now a minor league free agent with the Cleveland Indians, formerly of the Cleveland Indians. Eric Haase, the catcher from Milwaukee, is now a minor league free agent. Randall Grunchick, his player option, he declined it. Lucas Giolito from Boston, his player option, he declined it. Mitch Garver, the team option for him was declined. Dominic Fletcher, a minor league free agent. Stuart Fairchild from the Rays cleared waivers, so he's now in the open market. Edwin Diaz, we talked about him. He declined his player option. And the Phillies Phillies in the news tonight. Brian Dela Cruz, formerly of the Yankees, hit the minor league free agent market, but he has signed with the Phillies. So the Phillies have made their first move, signing Brian Dela Cruz to a minor league contract, to an invite to spring training. More than likely, he will be a nice little piece to go down there in Lehigh and be part of a quick call up type situation that the Phillies might need. Of course, we all remember Brian Dela Cruz in his glory days back when he was a Marlin, but his career kind of went somewhere. But he is now going to be toiling around in Lehigh Valley with the Iron Pigs for the most part. Alex Bregman, we talked about his player option. He declined it. Ryan Borski is a minor league free agent. Cody Bellinger, player option, declined. Harrison Bader declined his player option. Aki Badadu, a minor league free agent. And let's continue on. Pete Alonso declined his player option. Thomas Nitto of the Detroit Tigers is now a minor league free agent. We got a trade. Ryan Velotti from the Cincinnati Reds is now going to Tampa. He was traded for cash considerations. Freddie Peralta did have his team option exercised by the Brewers. He's staying put. Keegan Thompson of the Cubs signed a 1-year contract with the Cincinnati Reds. Luis Robert had his club option exercised by the White Sox, keeping him there. Andres Menunez is also had his team option exercised. Andrew Kittredge of the Cubs was traded to the Baltimore Orioles for cash considerations. Joey Gerber was traded from the the Rays to the Mets for cash consideration, and Jake Fraley claimed off waivers from Atlanta by Tampa Bay. So there you go. A lot to go through tonight, but some names that kind of jump out at you a little bit. And as we do our very first, well, I guess our second hot stove report. Phillies need to do better. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, you're right, Star Wars. They need to do better. 100%. So that was our second hot stove. We'll probably come back to it maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, around there, and we'll update it as we go. There's going to be a lot of these names that we're going to talk about. Minor league contract, 1-year contract with an invite to spring training. There's going to be a lot of those names, but you got to go through the pebbles to find the diamonds, right? So we're gonna brief it all. We're gonna talk about it all, so we can at least say we talked about it, right? And that's how we're gonna run things. The Hot Stove Report on the It's a Wrap Sports Network on the Final Word was brought to you by the Clear the Ice Flyers postgame show. Tonight, Mike Laro has you for Flyers Predators postgame. I will be back Saturday afternoon for Flyers Senators postgame. So make sure you guys are keeping tuned in for all the action that's here on the It's a Wrap Sports. So the Phillies. So now, of course, the top tier free agents of 2025 have been broke down by Major League Baseball, and I think it's a pretty decent list. Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, Kyle Schwarber, Bo Bichette, Cody Bellinger, Pete Alonso, Dylan Cease, Michael King, Ranger Suarez makes the top list there. Edwin Diaz, Framber Valdez, Eugenio Suarez, Josh Naylor, Trent Grisham, and Luis Arraez, who I want. It's sort of your top level of free agents. These are the guys that are going to probably command the most money and years. Again, we talked about Schwarber and Suarez were tendered qualifying offers by the Phillies, protecting the Phillies if they decline the offer through draft considerations or draft compensation if they sign elsewhere. Sort of protocol, but is it more protocol, or is it more preparing yourself for the reality of what's going to happen with those two players? Time will tell, but I'm concerned that it's more of a move to protect themselves because they know they're not bringing them back. But we're going to wait and see how that all works out as free agency trades are well on their way as we've started officially the 2025-26 MLB off season. We're going to go over these free agents and these hot stove reports as we need to. And of course, we're going to continue to update you on the MLB 2025 season awards, which now are being dwelled out. We talked about the Gold Gloves. They were announced this week. Tonight, the NL Silver Slugger Awards were announced. Tomorrow, AL Silver Slugger Awards will be announced. And then we'll get into the big ones, MVP, Cy Young, Rookie, Manager of the Year, which for some earthly reason, Rob Thompson is a finalist in the National League for Manager of the Year. Stop the world, man. I want to get off, dude, because I don't see how that's even like, I don't even see how that's even remotely possible. I do not see how that's possible. But we'll keep you updated on all those things. I think we're the only ones doing that stuff, man. We're the only ones giving you in-depth hot stove, talking about players that are signing minor league contracts or becoming minor league free agents. And we're also talking about MLB in-season awards as they come out. You cannot get that type of coverage anywhere else but here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. When is the winter meetings? It's like December 8th, I think. I want to say December 8th, and I want to say it's in LA this year. I do. I want to say it's December 8th in LA. I want to say. Let me verify that for you. December 7th and 10th in Orlando, not LA. Yeah, why did I think it was in LA? 7th to 10th through December in Orlando, Florida is the owners' meetings this year for MLB baseball. That's when you see more. We talked about this thing. Was it last night, Joe? You mentioned that the owners' meetings are usually where you see the big trades. Not so much the big free. Some free agents fall at these meetings, but the big part of the owners' meetings is that's when you get the trades, right? It's when you get all the guys that are staying on the same floor of the hotel, sitting in their hotel rooms till 3 a.m, hammering out trade details. That's what the winter meetings are famous for in MLB. Yeah, because everybody's in the same hotel. They're all right there. I don't got to wait, make a phone call. Can't dodge me. I'm banging on your door till you answer. You cannot return my call or my email or my text. You gotta speak to me face to face. That's when all those trades get hammered out, man. So yeah, I would love to be a fly on the wall at the winter meetings. 100%. Go, Steve. What's up, man? Cutter Goche is sticking it right in her eye now. Drysdale better pan out. No, listen, man. I heard some, yeah, he's playing really well. Talked about this earlier in the season. Actually, we talked about it before the season started, Steve. What did he finish last year? Second in Rookie of the Year voting behind what's his name out there? Celebrini in San Jose. Yeah, man, he's having a hell of a little. Yeah, you're damn right. Drysdale better pan out. Drysdale's not going to pan out. All right, Drysdale is what Drysdale is, and it's almost to the point now with Drysdale. They can't move him because it's going to upset Zegras because they're like homeboys and stuff. You just got to kind of ride Drysdale out. Drysdale stinks. All right, I'm gonna say it right now. Drysdale. I've been waiting for 2.5 seasons for this guy to work out. Drysdale's what he is, man. Missed expectations, and I definitely think this is going to go down. And it's funny because a lot of Flyers fans, as you mentioned, he's sticking in our eye right now. Well, a lot of Flyers fans are sticking their head in the sand about the whole Cutter Gauthier thing, wishing it away, like, oh no, it didn't happen. This obviously is our worst nightmare when you trade a player like Gauthier, and sort of it's all about that whole what really happened with that. Why did he not want to play here? Was it because the Flyers didn't want him to come in? They wanted to save a year on his ELC by leaving him in college another year. Was that what pissed him off? I think that's what it was. I don't think it was anything other than that. I don't think he liked the Flyers' timeline or what the Flyers wanted to do with his timeline. I think he wanted to get to the NHL as fast as possible. And I think he wanted to come out after his first year of college. And they wouldn't let him. And I do believe that's where it started. and it kind of got bad from there. And when you trade a player like that high in the draft, you got to make sure you get compensation. Drysdale coming off of, he was a former high draft pick himself, just didn't work out in Anaheim. Had definitely the tools, but those tools have not transferred over at all. Drysdale gets lost out there. His biggest strength was his lateral game, being able to move that puck side to side along that blue line and really quarterback a power play. I have not seen that at all, really, in his time here. He gets swallowed up by the puck. He gets swallowed up by other players. I'm not digging Drysdale at all. And I think we might have lost this trade bad. I don't know who even to be mad at there. It really, you got to look at Danny. I mean, whose decision was it to leave him up in Boston for another year? And that's where I think it all began. I don't think he wanted to have that second year in college. I think he wanted to get, and it might have had something to do with the fact that he was a Flyers property, and the Flyers are what they are and what they were. And maybe he just wanted to kind of get that contract started, for obvious reasons. Let me get my time done here so I can potentially move on faster. But whatever, man. I don't know what it is, but I think that's where it started. Where it ended, I don't know. I don't know how bad it got, but that's where I think it started. Letting the Flyers letting him stay in college another year, or telling him he's got to stay there another year. That's where I think it started. We will have a losing season in 2026. Who's we? You got to be more specific, Star Wars. Talking about the Phillies, talking about the Flyers, talking about the Eagles, talking about, who are we talking about? I think the Sixers and Flyers will. 25-26. Are you saying the Phillies will have a losing season? The only time Drysdale shined is when we compared him to the image we had at the time. I remember us reviewing. Yeah. Again, it was the expectations, man. He had a really good. He's got a really good or he had a good lateral game. I've watched a lot of tape on him. Moves that puck quickly along that blue line. Just hasn't transferred, man. Just hasn't transferred over. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I saw this coming. This was going to be a bad trade. No, I was cool with the trade at the time. Gauthier didn't want to be here. Drysdale had a lot of untapped potential. I was 100% on board with it. I thought it was a fair trade at the time. Now it ain't looking so fair. Cutter Gauthier is like top, 10 players in the league right now? Jamie Drysdale gets lost on the ice. So, yeah, you're right, man. You're absolutely right. Star Wars clarifies it by saying the Phillies will have a losing season. Star Wars, man, what's happened to you, dude? One Orion Kerkering poor judgment and you're off? You're out? You're abandoning the whole thing? Done? Star Wars, the Phillies are not going to have a losing season. Even if they, for some ungodly reason, decide to bring the entire band back to include Castellanos, Bohm, Schwarber, JT, everybody, they still are going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying win the division, because you can never really say that. But there still are an 85-92 win team right now. You only need about 85 wins to get in the playoffs. 85-88. And they still are that. That's not what's pissing people off, Star Wars. That's not what's pissing people off. What's pissing people off is that's all we are as a playoff team. Again, I cite the Toronto Blue Jay Los Angeles Dodger World Series. As I'm watching that, two Titans going at it with each other, back and forth, making plays, I'm thinking to myself, there's no way the Phillies could have hung with either one of these teams. They could have hung with Toronto, and there's a reason why the Dodgers beat them. What happened in Toronto and LA was a pure World Series matchup between two teams that desperately wanted the World Series. The Phillies were so not in that. They're so not in that spectrum. They're so not in that atmosphere. They are a playoff team. They're a good team, but they're not a championship team. So they bring the band back. You get the playoffs again, more than likely. Not guaranteed, but they're not going to fall off a cliff in 2026. Not yet. But they have an opportunity. This is a very important, extremely important offseason. I don't know if you guys know how important this offseason is. This is going to set the course for the Phillies for the next 5 years, at least this offseason. The moves that they make or they don't make is going to set the course for the next 5 years. 2027 and beyond. Assuming they get the CBA worked out, and there is a 2027 and beyond. But this offseason right now will set the chessboard for those years, those 2027 and beyond years. 2026 is I don't want to like say gimme year. I'm not going to say that. But they're going to make the playoffs, I think. I don't think, unless injuries creep in, unless Zach Wheeler is less than Zach Wheeler, unless we get some injuries, Painter don't work out, Crawford's a bust, like Don Brown. Barring something significant, they are a playoff team in 2026. It's beyond 2026 that I'm a little concerned about. And a lot of the moves that they're going to make this offseason is going to sort of point the ship in that direction, or is going to point what direction they're going to go in. And that's why when we started this thing back in the, what was it? Right after the season, when I revealed my extreme lineup changes to this team, and I'll pull that up for you. I still have it. We'll look at that real quick. I'm looking at this more from a maybe a pissed off fans perspective than anything else, because I don't want any of these freaking guys back, honestly. But I know you can't have that. You're going to have to bring people back. They're way too invested in a lot of these guys to just say you're gone. But when I created this, my 2026, team here, I'm doing it with more of 2027 and beyond in mind, right? I know it's a lot to ask the Phillies to turn over their entire outfield, or 2/3 of their outfield, to rookies. Gabriel Raconis Jr. is probably a reach to make the team, but he'll probably get a long look. He will get a long look this spring. But is he a lock to make the team out of Clearwater and to actually start in right field? Probably not. They're going to have to bring in some sort of insurance policy, and that better not be Nick Castellanos. It better be another right fielder. Justin Crawford, a little bit of a different situation. He better be the starting center fielder coming out, or left fielder coming out of spring training, because we're going to burn down Citizen Bank Park if he's not. If Justin Crawford gets sent back to the minors to start 2026, all hell is I am going to personally lead a campaign to get Dave Dombrowski fired. I'm going to picket outside of Citizen Bank Park until they fire Dave Dombrowski. That's my guarantee to you right here. Now you got Harrison Bader, who declined his option. Now that really doesn't mean anything other than he wants more years. Do they bring him back? I've heard 3 years for 36. I'm not interested in that, but he wants that third year, and how they get the money worked out there, I don't know. But there's Bader out there in left field. My infield is an infield that I envision without Kyle Schwarber being part of this. I want Pete Alonso here, and I've told you why. He's more versatile than Kyle Schwarber. I can use him more places than Kyle Schwarber. He's not a defensive liability. I mean, he's not a Gold Glover, but he's not a defensive liability. And it fixes the mistake of the 2016 MLB draft, when we took Moniak, #1 overall, and left Pete Alonso and the rest of them out there to be scooped up by other teams. And he's protection for Harper as a right-handed power batting fourth. And there's no more. I don't want to bat fourth. I want to lead off. There's no more of that. I'm done with that. That's why Kyle Schwarber's got to go and Pete Alonso's got to come. I don't want any more diva crap from a DH saying he demanding the bat higher up in the lineup. And with Rob Thompson being retained by this team, I'm scared that if they bring Schwarber back, of course, we get the same nonsense. So if they would have fired Rob Thompson, I probably would have been more on board with keeping Schwarber because you got a new manager coming in with maybe new ideas. But with Rob Thompson, I don't want Schwarber. So I don't want him batting anywhere but fourth. I'm done with that. Luis Arraez from the Padres, this is one of those wish list things. I know they're not moving off Bryson Stott. I know they're not. They probably won't, like 90% sure that they won't. But if they were, this is the guy I want. Prototypical second batter in your lineup. He's a contact hitter. He gets on base. He doesn't strike out. Changes the DNA. He's an actual number 2 hitter in your lineup. We haven't had one of them in years. Trey Turner. Kemp at third until Aiden Miller can take it over. Again, a little extreme with turning over a lot of my team to rookies, but that's where I'm at right now. I want the DNA of this team changed. I don't want power hitting anymore. I want a balance of contact and power. I know it's a radical concept, man. I'm crazy like that. Jeez Louise, man. Marsh, Sosa, and Marchand on the bench. No new earth-shaking news there. Harper's my DH. JT's coming back because, again, not because I want him, but because there's nothing else there. He's got us against the wall. Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, Luzardo, and Andrew Painter, and a Patrick Corbin-esque 5th safety net starter. I'm not married to Corbin. You can't get Corbin, fine. But somebody like that who can pitch you innings, take the ball every 5th day. I don't need him to have a 2.4 ERA. I don't care. He's going to be pitching 5th. But I just need a little safety net for Andrew Painter. Trevino, Walker, Banks, Strom, Alvarado, Kerkering, Kenley Jansen from the Angels, who's a free agent, and Johan Duran as my bullpen. That's a solid lineup, man. And then I got Turner, Arraez, Harper, Alonso, Romuto, Bader, Raconis, Kemp, and Crawford is my lineup. That's not too much to ask, but it is a little radical. I get that. I'm turning over the big portion of this team to a bunch of young players. But that's where I'm at, man. Because I'm tired of them being just good. I'm tired of that. I want them to be great. Or different. I don't know. We're not far off. Yeah, we're getting there. Another year. He does. Right now, he leads the league in goals, yeah. Trey Turner ain't making those throws or fielding plays. Stott ain't running the bases like the Jays and Dodgers. I 100%. And the outfield. What? The Hernandez play or the Pagas play that saved the series? I mean, maybe Crawford makes that play. Brandon Marsh don't make that play. Tommy McCollum needs to support Duran. Yeah. Duran's gone. No, he's not gone. Bader's not gone. Not yet. Miller and Crawford must be big hits with 40 plus stolen. Yeah. I mean, and again, I want to put the context out there. Do I honestly believe? First of all, yes, I believe Justin Crawford. Matter of fact, God damn it, I swear to God, if he is not, listen, I'll even soften a little bit. He doesn't have to start. Okay, I know they want to bring him here to start, and he should because he's got to play. But I'm at a point now where he just makes the team, right? And I'm okay with that. That's a pathway. But if for some godforsaken circumstance where they decide to leave him down in AAA for another year, a start of another season, I'm telling you right now, I am going to a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week picket out front of Citizen Bank Park, demanding the immediate firing of Dave Dombrowski and the entire minor league player development staff if Justin Crawford is not on the Phillies roster to start the 2026 season or traded. Okay, I'll throw in another bone there. Or if either he makes the team or they trade him. But if he starts the season down in AAA, I'm hitting the picket line, man. Every day I'll be out there. And I'll do it until something happens, man. But Miller, again, Miller's a reach. I don't have expectations for Miller at the major league level in 2026. I don't. The kid played the majority of the season with Double-A. He started high A, went to Double-A, played 99% of the season in Double-A, literally got called up to Triple-A on the last week of the season. Would he get one at bat or one game? I'm okay with Miller going and starting 2026 in Lehigh Valley. 100%. But third base is waiting for him. And that's why I have Kemp starting the season as my third baseman. And then eventually turning it over to Miller when he's ready. Again, my lineup's a little steeped in craziness. I get you. The Brewers declined their mutual option on Rhys Hopkins. Yep. And we just went over that. We did our second hot stove report of the season, and we talked about that. If you're intonating that we should kick the tires on Rhys Hoskins, Star Wars, shame on you. Shame on you. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But good spirited conversation. You know what? I'm glad we're talking baseball, man. I'm glad we're not going to let baseball die because it's only going to be a very quick what? I put out that they've already released the minor league, or not the minor league, the spring training schedules. It's out on our Facebook page. I think their first game is the 21st of February against the Blue Jays. And then we'll get this thing rolling on March 27th or 26th against the Rangers at home. And a banner year in Philadelphia baseball in 2026. Highlighted by, of course, the All-Star game. World Baseball Classic is back. The draft is here. Futures game is here. And God willing, as per Major League Baseball's rules, the Phillies have already met the minimum mandatory requirement of 2 years with their current City Connect uniforms. So they are able, by MLB rule, to change them in 2026. And I pray to the Almighty that they do. Of course they will, because it's a money grab. They're going to come out with a new uniform. But we could be seeing, hopefully, a new City Connect uniform in 2026. So a lot to be excited for Philadelphia baseball for the upcoming season. And we will have it covered here. The Fighting's Final will return for season number 5. But before we do it, we will wrap season number 4 on a special Thanksgiving afternoon edition of the Fighting's Final 2025 season in review special. Myself, Mike, and Al will come together and we will put the bow, the ribbon it is or was, the 2025 season around the Phillies one last time, and we'll get you set for next year. So Thanksgiving afternoon, maybe not at mid-morning, 10 o'clock. We're looking for a release date. It will be pre-recorded. It ain't going to be live. We'll record it a couple days earlier. And we're going to release it on Thanksgiving mid-morning. So be on the lookout for the 2025 Fighting's Final season in review special, as we will come together for the last time for the 2025 season to discuss the Phillies one final time. Here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Eagles and Packers game is going to be good. It's going to be a snow. Now, they've called the snow off. I was looking at the weather report about that. They might get some flurries. It ain't going to be like a blizzard. I mean, the snow is not going to be a problem in this game. It might just be a little wintry. But it's going to be the 20s. And that's football right there, man. And we talked about that earlier on the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. Kyle and me came together, went over what we think is going to happen in this football game. I think that, honestly, I could see the Eagles winning, and I could see them losing. I'm not a fan of what was done during the trade deadline because I think it's a desperate move. It's unprecedented that the defending Super Bowl champions had to go out and add 4 pieces in the offseason or at the trade deadline. But we'll wait and see how that goes now. But so make sure you check out the what's it called? Oh, Bird's Blast with Kyle Quinn. Josh Allen had 4 push touchdowns and Jalen Hurts had 3 touchdowns. What are you talking about? This season? Who cares? Who cares what your mid quarterback's doing there, Star Wars? Let me ask you a question, Star Wars, and everybody else assembled out there. Right now, if you had to sit there and make a choice, a decision, you had to give money. You had to sign over a cash check. You had to make an on-the-spot decision right now to who the greatest quarterback in Eagle history is. Who would you vote for? Who would you vote for? I want to know. It's an extra added bonus question into the show. Not a Jalen Phillips fan. I am. No, Steve, I am. 100%. But he's a rental. Cost me a 3rd-round draft pick. Yes, I'm going to get a compensated pick in 2027. We started the whole off season or season with 13 draft picks. We're down to 8. It's unprecedented. The level of failure of an offseason plan by Howie Roseman for the defense. It was a failure, this offseason plan. Every player he's brought in this offseason, via trade, via free agency, the draft pick, praying to God some of them step up, none of it's worked. The defending Super Bowl champions. Now, your fraud of a GM who's supposed to be this magical, elfin-like person who creates winners, how he creates luck. He gets lucky. He doesn't know how to sustainably build champions. 2017, he got lucky. That luck ran out, and then we didn't see anything until 2022. He wins the Super Bowl last year. But what does he do? He strips the team down for parts. Brings in Class B free agents. Keely Ringo was actually... Who thought Keely Ringo was going to step the hell up, man? Adoree Jackson. Marcus Epps, did he show back up at one point this year? Sua Peta, I hear his name being floated. Is he still around? We brought Brandon Graham back from the dead like Jesus raised Lazarus. And these are the moves of a GM of the defending Super Bowl champions. Jalen Phillips, obviously the jewel of the moves. But 4 moves. 4 by the defending Super Bowl champions at the trade deadline. You know why the window-licking homers think that the Eagles won the trade deadline? It's because they made all the damn moves. Jair Alexander, about 5 years off his prime. Michael Carter, really good player if he could be on the field. Jalen Phillips, a very good player. But wait a second. Doesn't Jalen Phillips also, isn't he a left side edge rusher? But isn't Nolan Smith also a left side edge rusher? We're going to overload the left? Who's switching? Saying, man. Boring game on Thursday Night Football. It's what? The Raiders and the Broncos, right? Well, anyway. What time is it? 10:05. Getting long in the tooth here. Speaking of window-licking homers, let me pop somebody on here. Hello, Michael.
Hey. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Doing well.
I'm sitting here watching this beautiful Flyers game and the football game. Kind of doing a little double duty here. I just wanted to remind our lovely viewers, I will be on as soon as that final whistle goes in Nashville. So hopefully the Flyers can add a few more pucks in the net tonight. Give them a nice, comfortable win and sweep the season series from the Preds.
What is the score right now, Mike? Update our viewers.
at the current moment, they are just about to get the third period underway, and it is 2-1 Flyers. Matt Mitchkov got on the board tonight. Matthew in the second period, along with our boy Noah Cates as
stuff,
well.
Man. And how's Vladar? I saw a little bit of the earlier part of the game. I did not. How's Vladar looking? He looked a little shaky, but he was making some good saves.
Yeah, he was shaky in like the first 3 minutes of the game. He kind of let one in he should have had back, but he's been stellar after that, man.
Good. So 2-1 Flyers as they get ready for the second or third period, and Mike will be here to clear the ice. Mike is not happy about Cutter Gauthier. Are you not? Is Steve speaking for you here, Mike?
I had some choice words for the young man when he didn't want to play for my team. Listen, he's having a good year this year. I guess time will tell over that trade.
Well, how much more time do we have to give it? Drysdale stinks.
Yeah, he does. I mean,
I was on board with it. I wanted him too. I mean, I thought Drysdale had a lot of untapped potential, and so did Gauthier. I thought it was a clean deal, and Drysdale he disappears out there, man. You lose him out there.
Yeah, well, I think we kind of got even with Zegras, for Paling. So
yeah, it's a good way to look at it.
So
it's a good way to look at it. Can't believe how many shootouts we have won. Yeah, we're 3-0, Steve, in shootouts.
I just got to ask a question though. You're not liking the Jair Alexander move?
Yes. Are we going to go back in our DeLorean to 2022, or are we here in 2025? What year are we sitting in right now?
I will say this: yes, he is recovering from injury, but I don't know. During when free agency was upon us and Baltimore had signed him, I thought that was a really bad fit for the style that Jair plays. And I didn't understand why they signed him. Like, to me, that was kind of one of the most weird signings of the offseason because they already had cornerbacks, but they just, they kind of signed him as a luxury. And then I think he still wasn't, I don't know, he's still recovering. He was still recovering, I guess, from his injury. So I don't know. I'd be more than willing to give him a chance and give him a good look. You know what I mean?
Well, he can't hurt. I mean, he's going to make it better just based on what we have here. You know what I'm saying?
He's better than anything that we have here.
I'll give you that. But can he get on now? But what does that say? I mean, I get the fit problem in Baltimore, but what was it? For the last 5 weeks, he was a healthy scratch. He couldn't even get on the field.
Because they're playing younger guys down there. So that's kind of how that was. It wasn't because he wasn't good enough to get on the field. I know a couple of Ravens podcasters who talk about the Ravens, and I kind of reached out to them, talking to them, asking what was the deal with Jair, and they just said pretty much they went with a younger guy. That was it. It wasn't he wasn't upholding his end because he actually had a couple pretty good games with Baltimore. So I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to be moved out of there. You got to figure at that time they were 1-5. He probably looked and figured this isn't probably going to work out. So, you know what I mean? He just wanted to go ahead and do that, I guess, and move on. But I like the Alexander sign. I think that's going to be a little overrated. It'll be a little underrated, I should say, as we move forward.
Okay, so Jair Alexander, Michael Carter, yeah, he's a decent player if he can stay on the goddamn field. He's got health problems.
Yeah,
Jaden Phillips has got health problems. I mean,
same thing. All three of them were, if they're healthy, it's going to be a good pickup. But I do agree with you I don't think a defending Super Bowl champion has to make that many moves. I mean, I look back over the Chiefs over the last few years, they kind of made minor moves, not wholesale moves. So I think Howie kind of bought in a little too much on these young guys, and they didn't replace veteran leadership, going forward. I think when you have guys like Williams and Sweat leave and Brandon Graham, bringing Brandon Graham back, to me, that's a head scratcher. And I love BG, but it's a little bit of a head scratcher to me. What can you possibly get out of him?
Leadership.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not seeing him if he gets 3 sacks, he'll be lucky.
I agree. I agree. I just, again, and listen, another thing that I was thinking about today. So we've played 8 games so far, right?
Yep.
If the Eagles make a run to the Super Bowl, and assuming that they get either the 1 or 2 seeds in the NFC, which is a pretty decent assumption. They still have 11 games to go to get to the Super Bowl. So they got more games remaining technically than they've already played. And our health problems, we're not doing really good right now, and we still got more to do. So, I understand why fans are excited because he's making moves. He's trying to, what did they say? He's trying to fix his problems. He identifies his, whatever it means, whatever the hell. Anyway, but, I think there's still some depth problems on this team. We did not address the offense at all. You still have some potential depth problems along the offensive line. Jorgens and Dickerson, can they make it through the rest of the season?
Well, they just let the kid Lumpkin that they signed that they kind of stole from the Rams. He's got his practice window open now. And you know what? I would really love to see this kid get a shot. Maybe possibly being a center, because then you can slide Jorgens back over to, guard, even though he would be a smaller guard, but you could still slide him over. So I would like to see what happens. I mean, right now they're going to get some guys back now that I heard you bring up Sua Opeta. They actually just released him. He was like on a practice squad or something.
Yeah, but he was back in the organization. What the hell's going on, man? Is Bill Burton coming back next week?
Dude, Matt Pryor's still on this team. Like, you want to talk about taking up a roster spot? Like, that dude is worthless. You want to talk about a turnstile? Like, when they tried putting him in beginning of the year, I was like, who? Like, you want to talk about somebody having pictures of somebody with a goat? I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like, that dude's a stiff. But, all right, Matty, I'm going to let you close up. But, guys, join me right after this, or I should say right after the final whistle of the Flyers game. I will have to clear the ice. So, hopefully, can the Flyers hang on? Only time will tell.
All right, Mike. Thanks for stopping in. We'll be watching when the Flyers game is over, man.
You got it, buddy. Have a go.
All right, Mike Laro. Star Wars says Howie made bad moves. Yes, he did. We DT none of our move. What? Huh? We want Mike and Al to open the. You know what? We talked about that last night, Joe. I'm not going to lie to you. The innovation that is the final word with MattyB, and we do the call-in stuff, right? Typically every night. Maybe I should have done it tonight. Now that we're over an hour in, I should have probably did it, but I didn't. Oh well. But we talked about that. Again, I've told these guys from day one, they run their shows as they see fit, and they'll do what they want. But the discussion was had about them opening up phone lines when they do PM in the AM. So keep badgering them about it, and maybe you'll get your way. That's why Howie stockpiles picks. What do you mean stockpiles? Like for the years that come? Steve, we got eight picks for 2026 right now, right? We got 8 picks right now. We had 13. And I'm not telling you that I expected him to take 13 draft picks. I did not expect that. But you're looking at a situation now where you have to address some issues with this team. 23 incoming free agents as of right now that are going to hit. Just become free agents. I'm not talking about re-signing anybody, but 23 free agents. And you got some needs along the offensive ball or side of the ball that need to be addressed. A.J. Brown, is his time with this team longer than this year? If not, you're going to have to go find another number 1 wide receiver, or at least a number 1B or 1A to go along with Devontae Smith. You're probably going to have to go through the draft to get him. Lane Johnson, how many more friggin' years do you expect Lane Johnson to strap it up? And when are you going to bring in his replacement? So you're going to have to use the draft on that. Dallas Goedert, this is it for him. There's nobody waiting in the wings for tight end. Now, do the Eagles, which I think they might be leaning towards this because they have not addressed tight end when it was pretty evident they needed to. Are they giving up on the tight end position because their quarterback doesn't throw to the tight end that often? Are they giving up on that? I don't know. But they're going to have to draft a replacement for Dallas Goedert. Saquon Barkley. You've kind of already seen sort of I hope not a harbinger of things to come with him this year. He finally got going in the last game, but how much more years do you think you're going to get out of Saquon? So, yeah, you're stockpiling picks theoretically, but there's some immediate holes in his team that are starting to sort of kind of come up. Now, there were a lot of holes in the defense. I'm not saying he didn't adequately go out and address those holes. 100%, I'm not saying that. What I am saying, 4 at the trade deadline? That's not adequately addressing holes. That's overhauling a defense at the trade deadline. And yet we're going to sit back and give this guy a round of applause. You're not going to criticize him for a bad offseason. You're not going to criticize him for a completely failed offseason. But you're just going to applaud him for fixing it? Come on, man. You guys call me unfair when it comes to Howie. The homers need to kind of take stock in themselves, too. Spend more than 2 seconds criticizing Howie Roseman for not doing the right thing in the offseason. The story of this season has yet to be written. And if another Super Bowl happens, obviously, I got egg on my face. But if they don't win a Super Bowl, if they don't take advantage of the opportunity to start the Eagles dynasty, what excuses are you going to give for Howie Roseman then? And again, you notice how I didn't say what accountability you're going to give for Howie Roseman. No, I said what excuses are the homers going to give for Howie Roseman at that point? Howie Roseman's a fraud, man. I'm not saying he's completely inept. I'm not saying he's not, doesn't know what he's doing. But he's not this great grand master of GMs. Call in. Not tonight, Ryan. I got kind of caught up on my soapbox, man. I'm sorry, dude. But typically we do. You know that. Please keep checking back. Ryan, what's up, man? My man, Ryan Swope. 165 subs, 30. Yeah, let's go. We're on the marks to 200. I don't listen. Subscribe if you want, like if you want, share if you want. I would love it, obviously, but I'm not going to sit up here and pander you guys all night long. Well, I need to get, you give me 500 more subs, I'll carry you across the world. Nah, I'm not going to do that. Listen, I know this is an uphill climb, but I'm down for the uphill climb, man. I'm down for the challenge. I love this stuff. But yes, I would love the recognition and I would love the stuff, the other things that go along with that recognition. But as long as I can deliver good content, I can't control your finger button clicking motions. I can't control that. I can control what I can control, but absolutely Star Wars. I appreciate you bringing that attention to me and everybody else that we need your help. I agree. Thank you very much. Lauro, it's strange they didn't sign him as a free agent. It would have been without giving up picks again, but they trade him and they give up picks. Why? Listen, that's a great question, Ryan, but you got to be careful, man, because the Howie Gestapo is everywhere, man. Man, they're gonna snatch you out the middle of the night from your warm bed, take you to the re-education camp. You can't say things like that about Howie Roseman, man. You cannot question his divinity. But you're right. 13 draft picks start the season. Down to 8. Very pedestrian, Nate. What is it? A 1, a 2, 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, and a 6? Something like that. Steve mentioned stockpiling draft picks. Yeah. I mean, we got that extra third round in 2027 or fourth round, whatever it will be. Was it 9 trades this fool's made since training camp? 9? When the hell was the last time that's happened? But no, that's working the phones, and that's Howie doing Howie things, and that's Howie season, and that's why he's such a great GM. No, man. We entered the offseason having to kick some money. Actually, that's not a true statement. We entered the offseason at the end of the kicking can money road, and there was no more. You couldn't kick it any further down the road. So you're going to have to cost cut other places, i.e. Slay, CJ, DJ, BJ, Milton Williams, Sweat. Those players, Isaiah Rodgers, for God's sake, all those players, Becton, all those players were a cost-cutting move. That's all it was. Because we ran out of money or ran out of can to kick. And they brought in class. Listen, Howie knew what he was doing. I'm not going to sit here and say that, he was completely inept and thought Ozur Lazari was going to be the next coming, or Ojomo was going to be the next coming, or Adoree Jackson was going to somehow step into that CB2 role and make it his own. No, I don't think Howie's that ignorant. He knew what he was doing because he knew he had no other choice. But is that what a GM, is that what this mastermind of a GM does? Just saying, man. We don't like none of the trades. I like the Jalen Phillips trade. I do. In theory, I do. But a third-round pick for a half a season? They're not going to be able to re-sign him. Talk MLB. Ryan, we did. We spent the first half of the show. I did an in-depth hot stove, man. Talked about all the players that have currently hit free agency. Some of the moves that have already been made. The Phillies signing a couple players. Dela Cruz, formerly of the Marlins and of the Yankees system, is now in the Phillies system. We talked about him. We talked about the qualifying offers of Schwarber and Suarez. We talked about, all this stuff. I did my hot stove report tonight, earlier on in the show. Ryan, we're on at 9 o'clock now. We're on from 9 to 10 now, not 10 to 11. We switched to winter hours. If you're ready to, yeah. I would have traded Brown for Sauce. Yeah, that would have been, me and Kyle talked about that. Listen, when I heard that trade, I was like, what, did the Colts think they're a cornerback away from winning a Super Bowl? I mean, that's a big-time mortgage offer, man, for Sauce Gardner. He's a great player. But they went all in on not only Sauce Gardner, but on Dan Jones by trading away future first-round picks. They just invested their organization in Daniel Jones. I don't know about that. Ballsy trade by that young lady. The Emporium will open. Oh, it will. Oh, no, Steve, listen. It won't open. No. The Emporium's going to have to build a warehouse. They handle the Howie excuses or the excuses why this team doesn't, if they don't win a Super Bowl. It's not going to be because they weren't properly, it's not going to be because their GM didn't do his job. It's going to be all other factors. Disrespect, outside noise, not having back-to-back home games. There's going to be a whole bunch of things that that Homer side of the fan base is going to come up with. How he screwed up Zay Rodgers. Yeah, he did. Could have got him for what? $2 million? $2 million? Definitely would have been a better deal than I think what we got. So, well, anyway, listen, I'm probably getting ready to break into clear the ice. So I'm not watching the game, by the way. Does anybody have an update for me? It was 2-1 starting the third period. Let's do our last two segments of the night. Let's do our of the night segment and then our card review. So let's start with of the night right now. Here we go. All right, this is the of the night segment here on the final word. Our final word of our broadcast week. We'll be back on Sunday night to resume this, but we're going to wrap it up tonight. Of course, we are talking exclusively Flyers prospects at this particular moment, the time of the year. We're way too early to start breaking out the MLB draft prospects and the NHL draft prospects. And of course, I'm not going to start spotlighting Phillies players when we don't know who the hell they are. So it's going to be strictly Flyers prospects, and we've been doing it strictly with Flyer prospects for the last 3 weeks. Tonight, we're actually going to talk. I know there's been some gray areas about some of the players we talked about, Tony Dick being one of them. What was the other one we talked about? That was Rizzo, maybe not necessarily considered a prospect anymore because they've been drafted like 10 years ago. But tonight, we have a bona fide prospect and a guy that the Flyers are putting a lot of stock in. To be part of the new future of this organization. And a player that I've watched and was happy about the selection of him. Been watching his development through his younger years. Now that he's with the Phantoms, he's actually in Lehigh Valley. He's part of the next group of players that are being developed. And that is Mr. Alex Bump. He is the left winger from, he's pictured here with Western Michigan. 6'0", 194 pounds. He's now in Lehigh Valley, by the way. He's with the Phantoms this year. Drafted in the 5th round of 2022, without any tell, he fluently dekes through defenders along the perimeter to gain the zone. A textbook curl and drag wrister, beats the defender and changes the angle in one motion. He's also a skilled two-touch and catch and release shooter. Absolutely. He's a really exciting young player to watch. I've been looking at him throughout, again, his college years and now with the Phantoms. Through 11 games down there in Lehigh, he's got 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points, but a -1. -1. But definitely part of what the Flyers are looking at in the future. You look at Bump, you look at Barkey, you look at Bonk, you look at geez Louise. Who else falls into that list? You can talk Cole Knuble, Austin Moline, obviously Porter Martone, Jack Nesbitt. These are the players that the Flyers are essentially getting ready to turn over to that next generation. And it's good to see one Bump is in Lehigh. It's very important that he's in Lehigh as he continues his progression. At what point do you see him wearing orange and black? Well, time will tell, and the season will tell as well. But there's no rush on him. But I do like what he brings to the game. So if you have an opportunity to go check him out, please do. He is part of the future of the Philadelphia Flyers. Mr. Alex Bump coming in as our prospect of the night. And can't wait. Can't wait to see what he does, man. I have high hopes for him. 2-1 Flyers, 8:24 left. Thank you, Nooms, for that update. Matty with 70s porn stat. Yeah. Absolutely. 2-1 Flyers, 8:24 left the game. Thank you, guys. Robin Harper sucked. Jesus Christ, Star Wars. What happened to you, man? Dude, you're like our Fightins final, like never. You were never, and all the nights and all the years that we've been doing Fightins final, and you've been pretty much present for like every show. And that's a lot of shows, man. I mean, like, well, we're up to what? We're coming up on our 5th year. So do the quick rough math. 4 years at 162 games a year. We don't even include the postseason. Let's do the what? 162 times 4 is 8. 12 carrier 1. What? 548 games roughly. Star Wars has been a part of the Fightins final, right? And you've never been this negative. Dare I say the negative word, right? You've never been, or this pessimistic. You've always been Mr. Optimism. You've never been a window licking homer. I'll give you that. But man, woo! Did not like the signing of Harper when we did. Really, I liked it. You might have been the only one. I liked it. 6 minutes left in the game. Star Wars, listen, man. I'm not going to fight you back on Rob Thompson. And the news today that Don Mattingly is stepping away from the Maple Leafs obviously opens that door to what I want in the first place. All along, I want Mattingly to be the manager here. And with the Phillies creating that on-field MLB coordinator job and removing their current bench coach and putting him in that job, opening up the bench coach job, I mean, and with Preston Mattingly as the de facto GM right now, yeah, it opens the door here. And it should hopefully set up really well for the Phillies. I get you. I wasn't a fan of him. I don't think Rob Thompson should have been brought back. I think he's part of the problem here. And that laissez-faire attitude he has down in the dugout. Again, I cite the World Series as the body of work. Does anybody out there think the Phillies could have competed at that level with the Blue Jays or again, I guess we could say the Dodgers, even though they wouldn't have played them in the World Series. But do you think the Phillies could have competed at that level? What it took to win that world. If you want to know how hard it is or at what level of baseball you got to be at to win a World Series, just watch the 2025 World Series over again. And you're going to see what level of play you need to bring to bear. Now, are the Phillies capable of playing like that? Yes. I think all MLB teams are capable. Will they do it? I don't know. But I honestly have my doubts. Watching that thing go back and forth. 18 innings in one game. You got walk-off homers, extra innings. You got the Game 7 masterpiece with defensive plays. Do you think the Phillies could have competed in that level? No, I don't. So that tells me they are leaps and bounds away from a championship team. If they do bring it back or run it back, Star Wars, you're right, man. It's going to be a depressing year. It's going to be another, let's fast forward to October and let's just get this over with, right? because they will get to the playoffs. But I want to win a championship. And don't get me started on Dombrowski's like it's hard to win championship nonsense. I don't even want to get there, but what is Harper? No, not since 2022. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. 4 minutes left in the game. All right, so we're getting ready. I got to wrap this up. So let's get to the final segment of the night. It's our card review, my favorite part of the show. All right, MattyB's card review tonight. We are in the 2025. I talked about it last night. We about sort of the staggering of the release of the final couple series of Topps cards for 2025. Topps Update series is coming out next week. The Topps Update Chrome, which is the mother load of them all, comes out at the end of the month. And then on October 22nd, Topps released their holiday cards. And tonight we're going to talk about one such holiday card. Not necessarily a player that jumps out at you, but I wanted to bring it on because I wanted to show you what sort of the nuances of what Topps does with some of these holiday cards. It's a really cool idea. We've done holiday cards from the past. And some years it looks like Christmas has thrown up on the card. Like last year's were like really Christmassy. This year, a little bit more subtle with the Christmas theme or holiday theme. But there is still a similarity from years past that I want to bring up. So let's not waste any more time. Tonight's card, Cam Smith of the Houston Astros, his rookie card for the Topps holiday themed set of 2025. And if you're looking at this card right off the bat, obviously this is the same card that they've been using for Cam Smith all year long in Series 1, 2. It's the same card. But what's different, of course, is it's a little bit more holiday themed. You got the garland and the lights sort of draped across the batter. And as you can see, he's wearing a little bit of a Santa Claus hat or an elf hat, whatever. That's the nuance. Not all the cards are like that. With the hat thing, not all the cards. It's like a special sort of variation that they do with the holiday card. There'll be a Santa Claus hat one. There'll be an elf hat one. You might see a little elf pop up in the stands for one card. You just got to be kind of looking out for them. It's really cool Easter eggs they put in these cards. Really fun idea to deal with a set of cards that is really utterly worthless when it comes to trading on the open market. Nobody wants holiday cards. Even some of the better players out there, they just don't sell well, and they're not very high priced. But this is Cam Smith's rookie card, and of course, it's got the little hat. So that's why I wanted to bring it on. A good young player for the Astros, I'll give you that. But he is a rookie, and he's a rookie card. So you always keep rookie cards sort of shuttled away to see how they work out. But really cool. I like the design. You got the snowflakes there in the background as well. Last year, if you want to, when I say Christmas threw up on these cards in 2024, go ahead and research the Topps holiday card from 2024, and you'll see what I mean. This is a little bit more subtle, and I kind of like it a lot better. So there you go. One of them, I'm sure many holiday cards we'll talk about this holiday season. And here it is in its physical form to include the hat. That's why I wanted to show it. So there's MattyB's card review, Cam Smith holiday card with the elf hat. So about $3. It's utterly worthless. So make sure you keep us in mind as, again, the mother load, Topps Update Chrome. The final set of 2025 comes out at the end of November. And that's where all the rookie debut patches go, man. And that's what's going to be fun. A rookie one of one rookie auto debut relic cards. And that's the mother load. That's what everybody waits for all year long. So be on the lookout for those, and we'll definitely talk about those as well when they come out. All right, that's going to do me for the week. Thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. A great show tonight. I want to thank Steve, Star Wars, Joe, Ricky, Brian Swope, Mike Lauer, all you guys who checked in tonight. Thank you very much. Yes, please like and subscribe and share us around, please. I would appreciate it. But again, I will never pander for it. I'm not going to beg you for it, but please do. It would help us out. We got a lot. We got through a lot this week. Switch to our new 9 o'clock hour. Next week, we'll continue it. We'll be back on Sunday. We're going to have I'll let you know the schedule for next week. I got some post-game opportunity or obligations as well next week, but I'll be back post-game Flyers Saturday, 4:30-ish for the Senators game. Mike Lauer will have you right after this for the Clear the Ice. Until we talk again on Sunday, you guys have a great weekend. and we'll see you on Sunday. Take care.